this is Toby Elliott, and this is my Zedruu the Greathearted deck. So we have a Zedruu deck here. Zedruu is one of the more lighthearted and entertaining generals available for the public, so it's very appealing to me as a more casual, experiential player who just wants to see big, crazy things happen and maybe win in some insane fashion. But it's not a hardcore competitive deck. It doesn't play a lot of the more unfriendly Zedruu cards like Thought Lash and Celestial Dawn. It's not really interested in locking other players out. It's just interested in seeing what sort of mayhem we can generate. So we'll start with the land. Reliquary Tower goes in, I think it's actually the only card in every single one of my commander decks. Especially in a deck which is designed to draw cards. We're going to be seeing a lot of ways in which Zedruu is going to benefit us later. You're going to end up holding a lot of cards, and Reliquary Tower is just the easiest, cheapest, and most efficient way to keep a large hand. Zedruu is obviously a triple color general, and you're going to see some kind of scary mana costs in here, so we have plenty of basics. But we're also going to have a fairly substantial number of all the fixers you'd expect. So we have things like the Vivid Lands, partly for their early mana fixing and partly because they combo very well with the Boros Garrison. You use them early on to get whatever color mana you need, and you can bounce them back to hand and reset them. So we have all the Vivid Lands in here. Kher Keep is a personal favorite. That goes in a lot of decks that I like. It makes 0/1 kobolds. Who doesn't love a 0/1 kobold? In Zedruu in particular, if you need to, you can make a 0/1 kobold and then donate it to somebody. So it's not like they can use a 0/1 kobold. And a deck like Zedruu also needs to put up a lot of defense. And who wants to attack into a 0/1? It's just destroying a chump blocker. Maze of Ith, a very common commander card, and especially in a defensive deck like this, it goes in all of those. More land search, more ways of getting basics. Rainbow Vale is a particularly appropriate one for Zedruu because you use it for whatever color you need, just know it's a nice fixer, and then you just give it to somebody, which meets all the criteria you want for a Zedruu card. This deck is all about exchanging things, mostly through Zedruu, but you'll see a lot of exchange themes going on as we go through. More bounce lands, just generally lots and lots of mana fixing. Wasteland, I prefer Wasteland to Strip Mine. Commander's a fun format. The difference between Wasteland and Strip Mine is solely in, can I destroy basics? And the odds of you wanting to destroy a basic in any other way than to wreck somebody is just not there. Wasteland does just fine against the Volroth strongholds and the Gaia's Cradles, Netherlands you need to take care of. Wastelanding somebody who doesn't have a lot of mana on turn 4 is it's just not the way that I enjoy playing Commander. So we go through all the land, lots and lots and lots of land. Mystifying Maze again, more defensive effects. Phyrex's Core, we'll get to Phyrex's Core in a bit, but the main thing to know about Phyrex's Core is that, of course, this deck is running Spine of Ish Sah as a useful large removal spell that's available and very, very donatable. You give somebody else Spine of Ish Sah, they do not want to get rid of it. So Phyrex's Core is, of course, very useful for that combo. Rupture Spire is, again, very good mana fixing. Command Tower, essential for any non-monocolor deck. So Firefall is just sort of generically useful removal, and in a deck that really wants to get all sorts of different colors of mana, it's just a good card to have around. Early game it's fine, late game it's good. Wall of Omens is a card with a nice enter the battlefield effect, and then you can either turtle behind it or you can just give it to somebody and they have the 0/4 wall. In general, giving creatures away is not the most successful of plans because, well, they block. So if I give somebody a Wall of Omens, odds are pretty good at dying in a turn or two, but I can often get a Zedruu activation or two out of it. Psychosis Crawler, anytime you're going to be drawing the number of cards that we're likely to draw, it's quite a potent weapon, and there are times when you'll have 10 cards in hand, 15 cards in hand because of Zedruu. Emberwilde Djinn. Emberwilde Djinn is a wonderful piece of old Mirage tech. You can give it away. Well, you can't give it away, but it's a 5/4 flyer, and that's a very attractive target to many people, and as soon as they take it from you, it's incredibly hard to give back. And there are ways you'll see later to prevent it, to make sure it attacks other people and not you. Another wonderful card in this deck, Starke of Rath. Starke of Rath is an old Tempest card. It's artifact and creature destruction that then gives them a permanent. And of course, if you want to play a deck to cause maximal sort of chaos and fun things, this gets passed around the table as people start blowing other people's stuff up. Of course, a Zedruu deck the point of most of the permanents is that they're useless. So your permanents are pretty safe, whereas there are all sorts of juicy targets for everybody else to be blowing up amongst each other while you're just quietly over in the corner drawing cards. Another win condition in case you're... We have to have a couple of win conditions, I suppose. We're not just all about causing chaos. So Niv-Mizzet is a good source of damage, good way of just generally winning a game. Sun Titan, we have a lot of... we're going to see a lot of enchantments, a lot of sort of low-cost things like Journey to Nowhere, Oblivion Ring, that tend to get blown up a lot or go away, come back. And it just brings a lot of stuff back. That there's a sort of enchantment sub-theme in here. Sphere of the Suns is a terrific card for fixing your mana early, and then it's completely useless. Hey, there's a theme here. So you fix up your mana, you donate it to somebody else, and maybe you'll draw a few cards. Crackdown is, you'll see a lot of the similar effects in this deck. Basically, once the big guys start coming, you don't want them to come at you a lot. It's great against things like Eldrazi, for example. So it's one of those ways, like the Emberwilde Djinn. Somebody steals it, somebody hits. Even if they hit you once, now it's not untapping, and it's just going to sit there. Delusions of Mediocrity is like as far as I'll go for the let's actually hurt people. I wouldn't play Illusions of Grandeur for two reasons. One, it's not that much fun. But two, it goes away very quickly. If you play Delusions of Grandeur, you give it to them, they sort of sigh, suck it up, and lose 20 life. You play Delusions of Mediocrity, you gain your 10 life, you give it to them, and they spend the rest of the game trying not to lose it. So it's another way to make players not want to have Zedruu, or not to let Zedruu draw cards and not want to do things. Political trickery. Lands are the permanent least likely to disappear. So political trickery lets you exchange one of your lands for one of theirs. It'll work as mana fixing occasionally. It grabs neat stuff like Temple of the False God. Additionally, so the lands themselves are very rarely destroyed. Lands are the best permanent for letting Zedruu activate. Thopter Assembly is another useful defensive creature. It makes tons of little 1/1s that you can give away to people and recurs very nicely. Manic Vandal is another creature that has a useful end of the battlefield effect and then sits around to be donated if needed, but it's mostly there as the artifact removal. Arrest, again, double duty. It stops one of their creatures, and because it's an enchantment, it's likely to stick around for a while. You can donate it to somebody. It has no effect on what actually happens and is there. Treasure Mage, another one with a great end of the battlefield effect. It almost always gets Spine of Ish Sah, but does nothing else afterwards, so a great candidate for this deck. Another one, Endless Horizons, fixes your planes early. I'd usually grab 3 or 4, play 3 or 4 turns worth of planes, and give it to somebody else. Since it's an enchantment, it just sits there, does nothing. Invader Parasite deals with some of the nastier lands in the format, and again, 3/2 body. Note that the Parasite will deal the damage no matter who has the creature, so you can use it to do nasty things, even if it belongs to somebody else. Spine of Ish Sah, one of the best cards in the deck, obviously. You play it, you destroy something, you give it to somebody else, and then they all spend forever not getting rid of it because it's coming right back. Spine usually gets used 3 or 4 times in the course of a commander game. Seagate Oracle, again, another one with very little use after it's come into play. Journey to Nowhere, exiles a creature, give it to somebody else because at that point it's not doing anything. More exchange theme, we have Chromeshell Crab, which lets you trade with something better of theirs, which means it's a 2-for-1. You get something good and they get something of yours, and getting something of yours is key. Exclusion Ritual is the big daddy of the Journey to Nowhere family, so not only is it useful for getting rid of something and then trading, but it's also a high mana cost, which we'll see is relevant soon. Meekstone is more defense, and that's why we want the high mana cost, because Mischief will let you just trade stuff with other people. Trading the Exclusion Ritual for, say, Momir Vig is just wonderful and a fun sort of thing you can do. If you're going to exchange things, you may as well also exchange life totals. Zedruu gets hit periodically, and this is a nice little turtle card. It's a good threat, and if it comes down, you can start doing all sorts of mean things with it. This is the card that really makes the deck work. Jinxed Choker. You can basically have it going around the table, and anytime somebody gets to you, you just move it on to the next guy. As long as Zedruu's in play, you're never taking damage, and everybody else is desperately trying not to. And of course, you're drawing cards off it while you're at it. Propaganda is more defense. Avarice Totem is more ways of giving them stuff and getting rid of your stuff. The common trick with Avarice Totem is to pay the 10 and use the stack tricks to permanently exchange one of your other permanents with one of theirs. But in a deck like this, it's far more fun to just give them the totem and watch chaos ensue. Mation the Mind Cage is terrific defense. It totally shuts down other creatures while you're holding it and drawing cards, and you can give it to other people in a pinch if you need to donate something. Sabot's Web, another very useful card, shuts down all sorts of very nasty lands in the format, and you can give it to anybody, it'll still shut them down. Monk Realist, again, nice ability on a useless body. Chromatic Escape, every third turn they can't attack you. This is extremely relevant. You can hang on to it for a while in your hand, and then when it looks like somebody's going to Avenger of Zendikar their way to your skull, nope, turn before you just do that and they have to look somewhere else. Faith Setter, there's more nice things on the battle, nice things coming in and not much afterwards. Same with Hobble. Paradox Haze, it's a Zedruu deck. You're going to have lots and lots of upkeep, so you can draw lots and lots of cards and gain life. So this is a nice little techie card that comes into play and makes everybody kind of horrified, which is the idea of EDH, or Commander. You're supposed to try to find odd cards from the past that do really interesting and cool things, and that's one of them. Here's another one, Ward of Bones. It's not, doesn't look like much on the surface, and then you start thinking, well, you know, if I'm giving them creatures, I don't have many, and they've got the ones that mean that they can't play other ones, and you can do all sorts of weird, nasty shenanigans with Ward of Bones so that you don't have very many permanents and they have yours. More defense. If you're going to draw lots of cards, Hoof Prince is a good way of using all that card draw to turn it into some sort of win condition. So every turn, if you're drawing 4 cards, you're making a 4/4 creature. Soul Ring. This is actually my only Commander deck with a Soul Ring in it. I like the extra mana acceleration. I might pull it. I don't know. It's fine. Soul Ring's a good card, but it's not the be-all, end-all. Austere Command is probably the best Wrath ever printed for Commander, so that's in here. More uselessness after coming into play. You've seen all the enchantments, so that's a good one to bring back. Another nice little techie card. If they think they're crushing you and it looks like they've got through your defenses and they got down to really low life, well, hey, let's play Crumbling Sanctuary. That'll buy you 50, 60 life while they do damage and try to get rid of it. And eventually it goes away, but you've hopefully gained more life at the time and you'll go back to being higher life than everybody else. Cessation, another card that's incredibly hard to get rid of and draws you extra cards when you give it to other people. Thieves Auction. Best card in the deck in many ways. It just causes pure chaos. And Thieves Auction, first pick Zedruu, and then make sure you never pick another one of your permanents, and your next turn will be insane. So it's a great card. It's a very splashy card. It's a big card. It's what Commander's all about. It's the card of the deck as far as I'm concerned. More removal with useless after effects. More card draw with useless after effects. Orifications, more defense. It's fun to just put gold counters on things. Plume Veil's a nice little surprise, and in a pinch you can give it to somebody else and then start drawing cards off of it. More defense from Ghostly Prison. Revelark gets back all those stupid dorks that are just going into the battlefield effects, so pull back an Auramancer and a Manic Vandal and you're good to go. Muldrifter draws you cards, gives you a body to give away. Slow Motion, really hard to get away, slows people down, and even if they destroy it, it comes back. Karmic Guide, just good for getting back your little guys, and not a tremendous body afterward. You don't care about protection from black. Council of Advisors, same thing. And of course, if you've got Council, you've got Merchant of Secrets, same deck. Ledger Domain, another old little classic, lets you just exchange 2 cards. Remember, every time we exchange 2 cards, we're getting something nice from our opponents and giving them something we wanted to give them in the first place. So exchanges are great for this deck. Dragon Wings. Dragon Wings is a little bit of tech because it's in the graveyard and it doesn't have to go on your creatures. It can go on any creature. So another one of these cards is very hard to get rid of unless you exile it. Gilded Drake, more exchanges. Happy to give him a 3/3 for something cool. Juxtapose, exchanges 2 things, even better. You can always get, and your artifacts aren't that awesome, theirs are, and you get highest converted mana cost ones, so that's great. Kriegsmarine is another neat little one which basically goes to them very, very quickly. You don't even have to pay mana or anything. Whoops. Vidalcan Plotter is political trickery on a stick, so gives us the land exchange and another body to give away if we need to. And Hoarding Dragon has a neat little clause that, of course, the artifact, no matter where it is when it dies, goes into the owner's hand. So you can give away Hoarding Dragon if you want to, and you'll still get the artifact once it dies. So that, I mean, that's a Zedruu deck, basically. You're looking to give them stuff, give them your useless stuff, take their good stuff, and generally have sort of fun and wacky, and see what sort of shenanigans ensue. Thanks for watching CMDR Decks. Please subscribe and favorite.